Hello Wolfpack, bit of an emergency update here. I didn't really intend on making this video today, but I'm going to make a very quick one because we are pushing up against this macro downtrending line, this yellow line stemming from November, and you guys know my opinion of this line. This line's very important in my opinion, right? We need to be breaking this line in order to confirm a renewed upwards trend, and we need to be rejecting off this line in order to confirm a retest of the lows and possibly even new lows. Now, I've created a buying plan around this line. My whole buying plan is actually built around this line to a certain extent. And the buying plan is what you see on the screen here. It's either what happens on the left or what happens on the right, depending on what comes first, depending on if we do break below 17.5k, etc. But ultimately, I want to talk about another scenario that could happen, and this is a third scenario that I personally I see as unlikely. But the point is, we have to be accounting for all scenarios, and the fact that we're testing this line right now is probably a good indication that we need to be creating a buying plan around it. What happens if we just break this line without testing 17.5k? Right? Yeah, it seems unlikely, and it's definitely going against my analysis. But what happens if that happens? We need to have a plan, right? So what the plan is this: if we do break this line, and by a break I don't mean a wick, by the way. By a break I mean a strong daily candle close, preferably a 3-day candle close, to be honest with you, seeing as it is a 3-day chart, a resistance line as per the RSI matching up with it. So honestly, preferably a 3-day close, and that's what I'm going to be sticking with. But if you're very, very optimistic and you're very aggressive with your investing, you could do a daily candle close, but I'm sticking with a 3-day candle close, right? So I'm going to go with my kind of thing here, 3-day candle. If we see a 3-day candle close above this line, right? 3-day candle close above this downtrending yellow line, which would be a 3-day candle above, say, 22.2k, 22.3k. The higher you go, the more confirmation there is. That would be a breakout. What would we do in that scenario? Well, I'll tell you what we do. We would buy 50% of our long-term Bitcoin holding at that breakout, and then we would wait for further confirmation via breaking above the 200-week SMA, which we can bring up on this chart here, the green line here, which is at currently 23.5k, and that's when we buy the other 50%. So that is the scenario, that's kind of the alternate scenario. So obviously we have the two scenarios here. The two scenarios are very clear. The two scenarios are 33% at 11.5k to 13.8k, 33% at the breakout of the yellow line, and 33% at 18k. And then the second scenario is 33% at 18k and 67% at the breakout. And then we have a third scenario now, which is a scenario in which it goes against all of our predictions and it just breaks the line without testing the lows, right? And that scenario is going to be 50% at the breakout of the line on the 3-day candle, and then 50% at the break of the 200-week SMA on the weekly candle. That would be the third scenario. So I would actually go in and chuck that in right now. So you can see I've added in a third scenario there on the right-hand side. So now we have 3 separate scenarios. I know it's getting a little bit complicated now, but that's what it is, right? This is long-term buying. This is not meant to be simple stuff. So again, my predictions haven't changed, right? We very well should be seeing a rejection off this line, and we should be retesting 17.6k. Now, what is the reason for this pump? What is the reason for the recent, pretty bullish price action? The reason's quite clear, right? The charts aren't actually bearish right now. This is something I discussed in yesterday's video. I'm not bearish on the market. I'm not overly bearish on the market. I think people are way too bearish. We've got a bullish divergence here. We've got Bollinger Bands compressing as we're on support. We've got a descending wedge formation. We've got the 300-week SMA supporting the lows of 17.5k. In the meantime, we've got, interest rates, 50 basis point hike versus 75 basis point hike. 50 basis point hike is increasing percentage chance. Australia just raised by 25 basis points instead of 50 today, which is unexpected. The UK has gone back to quantitative easing. The traditional methods for predicting the bear market bottoms have all kind of said, hey, look, the bottom's in or it's very close. It's not a surprise, guys. This isn't a surprise. The only thing that's surprising about it is we didn't go down like an extra 600 USD on the last drop, right? There's nothing actually surprising about this price rounding out here. This is a kind of expected kind of thing. And I think you guys would have picked up on my tone in my recent videos. I am pretty, confident here that, we'll see a Q4 bottom. But most importantly, I'm relatively confident here that we'll actually be seeing a 17.5k bottom. I do think we'll come down and retest it. I would be surprised if we break out here. Especially on the 3-day candle. That's what I'm kind of basing on. I don't care if we get a daily candle, whatever. 3-day candle, I'd be surprised if we break out here, because that would technically put up the 4-year cycle into question, right? Because the 4-year cycle says we need to bottom out in Q4. And of course, if we bottomed out already and we're breaking up to the upside now, the bottom would have actually been in July, which would partially kind of throw off the 4-year cycle theory. We'd have to reanalyze it. It might not even be valid anymore at that point. Or, it might be partially invalidated. We'd have to really see when it happens. But I would still say, and I'm just reassuring you guys, I would still say, yes, I am confident in my predictions. I think we will see a Q4 bottom. I haven't seen any evidence to suggest we won't see that at this point. However, I am very skeptical of us actually going below 17.5k at this point. I see a lot of things lining up for a 17.5k bottom or something resembling it. So yeah, I think we're going to bottom in Q4, but I think it'd be something like this, where we reject downwards, slight wick below, maybe like 16,800, and then come back up and break upwards, and that would be the bottom. I still think we'll see a Q4 bottom, but I really, every day that goes past, I'm more and more doubting us going below 17.5k. So look, as of right now, and this is where it gets tricky. It's like, well, as of right now, this is technically a double bottom formation, what we have here. It is. It's a double bottom formation already. So, I suppose the question would be, well, why do we have to go down in Q4 and test it again in Q4? And I suppose the only answer to that would be, because of the 4-year cycle. So, let's see how the 4-year cycle plays out. I think it will play out perfectly. I think we will go down for a retest to 17.5k. But given the macro right now, given everything that's going on, it is very much worth creating a separate buying plan. And that's what I've done in this video here today. So before people say, oh, you're flip-flopping, Wolf, it's like, no, I'm not. Actually, my predictions are exactly the same. I'm simply creating a safety net for myself in case I am wrong, and hopefully a safety net for you guys as well that you can utilize in case we are wrong about this prediction. And ultimately, the good part about this kind of thing is, well, if we are wrong and if we do have to buy higher, how much higher are we actually buying? We're really buying, like, our average price would be like 2k higher, 10% higher. It's bad, but it's not necessarily the worst case scenario. So regardless of what happens here, I think we're in a pretty good position, to be honest with you. Because look, best case scenario, we bottom out at 17.5k and then we buy 67% at the breakout. We get an average price of Bitcoin around 19k. And then the scenario in which we break out right now, we'd get an average price of around 21, 22k, maybe 21k, right? So it's actually, regardless of what happens here, our kind of holding off on buying over the last 10 months has paid off. And that's what you want to see, right? But obviously I'm still very, 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 I really want to see the 4-year cycle play out. I think everyone should be, because at this point, it's about predictability of Bitcoin. If the 4-year cycle doesn't play out, and if we don't bottom out in Q4, and if we did bottom out in June, that would really stuff up the long-term structure for Bitcoin. So let's hope we see a 4-year cycle bottom. I think we will. I'm not straying away from that prediction. I'm merely creating a safety net. More on this tomorrow with Mega Well Crypto. Let's get into it tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that video. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I want to take a brief look into the BitGet Exchange. Now, this is my favorite exchange. I use this exchange for trading personally. I think everyone in Wolves Crypto should do so. Why is that? Well, the reasons are very clear in my opinion. First and foremost, it's 5 times cheaper than Binance, and Binance is known to be the cheapest exchange. It's also non-KYC on your personal end if you don't want it to be, and that obviously stands true to the values of cryptocurrency being decentralized. You can also KYC if you want to make it easier for tax reasons, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. That means that it is available globally, so everyone in the world can access this exchange due to the fact that it's non-KYC, which is great. It also has a protection fund, which is a very important thing, right? Because exchanges get hacked all the time, and people get hacked all the time by people in their personal lives. If you do get hacked and something happens, you can make a claim to that protection fund. They've got over like $200 million in reserve, so that if you make a claim and your claim is accepted, you can get that refunded into your account. That adds extra security to the exchange as well. And then on top of that, it's got a reward center that's available with my referral link, and you can gain access to over 4,000 USD in rewards. And I think just a temporary time frame, there is an extra little bonus thing going on. If you sign up to the exchange, use my referral link, and you do one trade, you'll get $10 deposited into your account, regardless of whether that was a profitable or negative trade. So go ahead and sign up to the BitGet Exchange, use my referral link. It really helps out the channel, and it definitely helps out yourself. This is by no doubt, by no stretch of the imagination, the best exchange I have found in the cryptocurrency market. It's so good that I actually reached out to these guys for a partnership. They didn't reach out to me, so check it out. And then we've also got the Crypto Academy. And if you're interested in becoming a trader, if you're interested to learn how to trade, to learn how to do TA, to learn how to identify market patterns, etc., and navigate an exchange correctly, you can sign up to this course, Become a Trader, a 10-unit course. This course is, of course, developed by myself and Mega Well Crypto, who's a fellow analyst in the space that a lot of you already know. We work very closely, and we worked closely using our 2 separate perspectives on the market to create one very consolidated, very concise course that is no doubt extremely useful for anyone wanting to become a trader or anyone wanting to improve their trading capabilities. We've got 10 units. All of these units have been critically analyzed by ourselves and also people we know in our personal lives, and we found them to be completely coherent and completely effective in teaching people how to trade. We use different learning strategies, for example, visual learning, verbal learning, practical learning. We've incorporated all of that in, and this is by no stretch of the imagination the best course you're going to find on the internet for cryptocurrency education. So go ahead and email us here at Crypto Academy Courses to find out more information. Without further ado, I'll end the video there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.